Breakfast is Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk with Matthew Dixon.
What do you want?
Gives you a chuckle every time, doesn't it?
It gives you a chuckle.
It does.
On 2D Breakfast at 8 to 8. Could you do book 3D?
Well, the changes in the way we do so many things. Books are now done print on demand, so it's not 3D printing as such, but it's print on demand. So in the old days, you'd have to decide as a publisher, how many copies do I need? How popular is this author going to be? How many bookstores do I send it to? Oh, we'll need to print 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. If the book wasn't quite as successful as you hoped, then you end up pulping a whole bunch of books.
So they go into remainder.
Well, and so
remainder.
Well, remainder.
Buck a book.
It's called landfill, I think, at the end.
Well, you hope not. I mean, when I did mine, that's a very nervous thing when you publish books. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Very nervous thing. And you go for the minimum actually, $5,000, $10,000 run first, and if that succeeds, then they go back to the print.
Yeah, and I've actually published books both ways with a publisher with a big print run.
Too?
No, I've done it through another publisher in the US who then just did publish straight on demand through Amazon, for example. And it just feels
a nice river, Amazon. Isn't it?
It is, but it just feels better
doing
it that way because it is as people order 1, 10, 100, 1,000, they just print it and spat out. So it has certainly changed that whole publishing arena.
I don't like these freebie sites. I'm sorry.
Which freebie sites?
Download, books and music and stuff. There's plenty of those.
Yeah, there are a few of those as well. And even the way people read books is changing.
Yeah, if they read at all.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a book in your hand. Isn't it good to have your book? I mean, your books are in your hand,
They are, but people I do have them on Kindles and people still buy them on Kindle as well and read them electronically.
Do they really?
Yeah.
3D. You and I were on the same page the other day when we read about Netherlands punching out a 3D house. And I had a look at it. It looks a little bit strange.
Looks like the Flintstones, I thought.
Yeah, rounded corners.
And
very similar to Fred's house.
Yeah, kind of like a cave house or a rock house. But the couple that are living in it, this is the first time there's been a 3D printed house in Europe.
Now we've got to quantify. It's a house.
A 3D printed house.
A fully fledged house.
Correct. The first one they've actually done on a commercial basis. So some experiments have been done, some prototypes. But there's a couple who are renting this house out now, living in it as we speak.
3 bedrooms?
I can't remember how many bedrooms it was.
No, 2, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was 2, yeah.
2
a bit smaller than 3, yeah.
But it had the entrance hall, windows, door, roof, floor.
And this one they took, and a dunny could work. This one they took a slightly different approach. Some of the 3D printing prototypes, they move the 3D printer to the location and then sit back and watch while it just prints the house on site. This one they actually 3D printed in a factory and then moved the components to the site.
Well,
and
that's
then
what they do with houses these days anyway.
To a certain extent, you're right. There's a lot of that goes on.
They construct everything, put all the trusses together and all the walls, and they move it by track.
Yeah.
How long would it last?
Well, they're saying that it should last every bit as long as a normal house. It's built of concrete. So if you had a normal house, a brick veneer house or a concrete cement rendered house, if you maintained it well, it's going to last probably 100 years. And this is the same. It's going to last certainly a length of time because what's wearing out on it? There's really just concrete there.
Yeah, inside.
Inside's quite interesting of this one. Now, you can do whatever you like, of course, but the designers in this house chose, because it's quicker to construct, that the inside is still concrete as well. So they haven't got gyprock over the walls like we'd normally expect to see. Yeah. And it looks quite interesting because it's got folds of concrete. As each layer of concrete is laid out, they left those folds there rather than trying to smooth them out. So it's got that different. Yeah, it's got that sort of rough cave-like feel to it. But on the inside, again, it should last 100 years easy. Concrete doesn't wear away too easily.
Yeah, but we'll never know.
We won't know.
Will we?
Someone will know, but we won't know.
They've already put in place sort of like a time lapse thing. They're going to make sure how it goes with weather. Yeah. In Norway as well, snow.
Yep.
It's very strange weather.
Yeah.
So could this be the way it'll happen?
This is the way.
But how much will it cost?
Well, they're saying that in this particular example, in Eindhoven, this one was built in the Netherlands, a third less concrete was used, quicker to construct, obviously, and certainly cheaper, dramatically cheaper. And there's some examples around the world. In India, for example, you've got lots of people living in, well, you wouldn't even call it housing, in very poor areas. And so some of the idea of India is to try and get people into housing. They're talking about houses that are 30 square metres in size, so not very large. Your lounge room is bigger than that, Richard. So they're talking about very small housing, but they're talking about maybe $10,000 to build some of these houses.
And Matty Dickinson, let's get serious. This could be affordable housing problem solved.
Correct. Certainly, you still need some land to put it on, and that might be India's problem. But in places like Australia, for example, we've got land. We have got lots of land, and we still have some affordable housing issues. So having a cheaper way to construct them and a quicker way to construct them, I think makes a lot of sense.
The downside is the tradies will miss out.
Well, there's still work to be done. So after the 3D house, it's the shell that's printed, and there's different models. So one particular model, for example, has a shell that's printed, and then there's still a normal roof and normal fit out inside. So it's really just the exterior component that's quicker to construct, and then you still need the tradies to finish off. You still need plumbing, you still need electricity, so you still need those services.
But can't we construct pipes out of 3D?
Oh, at this stage, they're actually just putting the pipes in place as they print around them. But gee,
Yeah.
look, that's the beauty of 3D. You put the materials into the 3D printer that you want to come out.
A 3D printed sink,
3D printer, you could
fan,
possibly
microwave, lounge chair.
you could possibly do everything, but then you start to come down to what's viable from a cost perspective, what's sensible to do. And in this scenario, they're saying it's sensible to print the shell, the walls, but the other components, no, they just put in a traditional manner. But who knows, Richard? Things are developing very quickly.
Well, we can do a car.
We can do parts of a car. They're not doing a car in one go, but again, and that's what it seems to be, because a 3D printer, you feed the material in that you want to come out. So it's easy to feed in one type of material and then print with that, rather than feed in so many materials, feed in every element from the periodic table of elements, and then something comes out.
Has anybody got a patent on all this stuff?
I would imagine that each individual machine that is built would have lots of patents on it for their way of doing it. Because there are different methods of doing it at this stage. But
In the future.
I imagine they wouldn't let anyone see it publicly until they've got some patents on it.
And look at this house, it's amazing. 3D house printing, and it's in the Netherlands, and it looks like if we do this for affordable housing, we'll have bedrock number 2.
That's right.
That's strange. Can you 3D print a dog?
You 3D print bones.
Oh, can you 3D print bones?
Yeah,
And a heart?
They have 3D printed a demonstration heart.
We're getting strange. Welcome to Frankensteinville. 8 o'clock.